Yeah, man, yeah, man. We're in Jamaica, man. We're in Jamaica. Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and all. St. Cruz. I tell you, brother, I haven't been smoking in a while. I started smoking again yesterday because I've been doing the tincture that I've been making. Pigeon. And when you don't smoke it, you don't get that cough. But I'm back to smoking it for a couple of days here again. Got the old Toka 2 out here, man. Getting myself right for tonight. And I had to absolutely come on today, being the 50th year anniversary of one of the biggest. It was a big upset for non-boxing insiders. Some of the insiders said they knew that George Foreman was something special. And man, on the night of January 22nd, 1973, 50 years ago, man, wow. It definitely makes me aware of my mortality, man. 50 years ago tonight, and it was a weird night. My dad had a heart attack on this night, and me and my mom went to the hospital, and I heard on the radio, 'cause I was paying attention. I couldn't go to the fight. I was sticking around, and man, this was Joe Frazier knocked out in the second round by somebody he was supposed to steamroll. This was supposedly the just a warm up for the rematch with Muhammad Ali. Anything in boxing can happen. And we got some reggae music in the background. Peter Rowan and Critical Reggae keep us in the right frame of mind, man. I got the herb, the lamb's breath. Yeah, man. I think I'd like to go to Jamaica. Anyway, man, Remy, my brother, thank you for coming by here, man. That one guy Bones. Salute, my brother. St. Cruz and my man. Yeah, I feel like I got a frog in here tonight. Little tickle in here going on, but key is keep it well lubed, plenty of water. And like the reggae man says, man, everything is gonna be alright. Medieval Dr. Dre, 1456. Phil Triple X. Is that one of your accounts, Pigeon? I don't know, man. Thank you for coming by. Julian Assange. Salute. Flick Knife. Just got off a boat in London. Hey, brother. Beezy. Shout out to you, Beezy. Pigeon, you're in full force tonight, man. Thank you for the views. All right, man. I appreciate you coming in here, man. And we're gonna look back on a fight that happened, like I said, 50 years ago tonight, man. It was called the Sunshine Showdown. Undefeated. Joe Frazier, the heavyweight champion of the world, WBA, WBC, Ring Magazine. That's all there was at the time. And George Foreman, undefeated, WBA and WBC number one contender. There you go, brother. All right, nobody's blocking anybody around here. I don't think they are. We're all adults in here, man. We're all here to, like I said, man. This is the eve of a sensational fight. George Foreman. He wrecked the turned over the apple cart, as they say. And Joe Frazier was a favorite in this fight. This was fought, like I said, down in Kingston, Jamaica, the National Stadium. You get some of the fight facts in here, man. I can look them up on the marvel of the internet that we have. Let's see here. Okay, tail of the tape, man. Smoking Joe Frazier against Big George Foreman. Frazier's from Beaufort, South Carolina. Big George from Houston, Texas. Joe Frazier, only 5'11" and 214 pounds, as opposed to George. They called him Big George Foreman, 6'4". By today's standards, he's average. And George weighed 217 pounds. They were both orthodox fighters. George said he was so scared when he got in the ring. He says he's glad that there was so much noise going on because his knees were chattering. He was Frazier was the betting favorite. Let me see if I can find some of the some more of the
was a sea shanty in the days gone by.
Let's see.
Maybe in the slavery days. This is on my
some of the fun facts about this fight. And we will pull them up here. Yeah, here we are. Arthur McCanty was the referee, one of the greatest referees going. We had the judges were Nick Spano, Jack Minot, and it was Joe Frazier's 5th defense of his heavyweight title of the WBC version. He had Joe had about 10 defenses. He had defenses of his initial NISAC title, then his WBA, WBC title, and then he was the undisputed for a while. And we'll pull this fight up, man, because this was an awesome fight, man. It went down in history. Like I said, it was just supposed to be the step over. A transitional fight for Joe Frazier getting back into form, and then it was everything but that. Let's see if I can get my my screen going on in here. See if I can pull this sucker up for us to enjoy. This is where we got that. This is where we got the famous Don Goes Frazier.
Foreman now is join Frazier out there. Referee's instructions.
Hang on a sec here. Wait a minute. I'm gonna keep this sound on so we can hear the famous. We can hear the famous Don Goes Frazier. I'm gonna cut the tunes out for this. Get this back up there. Get the screen on full here, man. What is going on? What is going on? Bear with me 1 second here. Bear with me. All right, we're gonna have to put that up again here. All right, here, man. Let's see. Find the fight. There we go. I need me a producer to do this stuff for me. That's why I liked it when my buddy George Jakovic used to come on here all the time with me. But anyway, man, let's check this classic fight out. I think Howard Cosell's going to call this fourth one for us.
The Jamaican Boxing Board of Control. We expect you to obey these rules, and I will be here to enforce them. In the event of a knockdown, you must take an 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is the
Arthur
way.
McCanty.
Break when I tell you to break. Shake hands now, come out boxing. Good luck to both of you. They're wearing 8-ounce gloves. The heavyweight championship of the world, if it goes the limit, they use a 10-point must scoring system. The winner of the round gets 10 points, the loser gets 9 or less, and
See, I gotta get.
they both get 10. Joe Frazier.
We gotta find the Howard Cosell version of this, man. You know, we have to find the ABC version. We have to find the ABC version. There we go, man. We're probably gonna get in trouble for it, but we need to see this. Yeah, here we go, man. This looks like it. This is what we want. Let's see if the picture's coming in good over here. Or well enough to watch.
Find out tonight, huh?
Yeah, we have to, we must have Howard with his commentary here for this fight. Let's put that back up there. Let's get Howard
The Ali
Cosell.
fight took out a Frazier, if any. And we'll find out tonight just how good George Foreman is in punching and in taking a punch. I think he hurt Joe Frazier. I think Joe is hurt. Angie Dundee, Ali's trainer,
Joe
right
is
next
hurt
to me, is saying
and-
that you may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Angie Dundee,
We have
Ali's
to hear that
trainer,
one
right
more
next
time.
to me, is saying that you may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! The heavyweight champion is taking the mandatory 8 count, and Foreman is as poised as can be in a neutral corner. He is as poised as can be. We have a minute left in this first round, and already this fight is proving out what some have expected. Oh, that left is getting in there. Underneath, Archie Moore is yelling to Foreman. We've got the excitement here that we look for. Frazier is dazed. He is getting hit again and again and again. The same head that was hit so often by Muhammad Ali. Frazier is dazed. You see the countdown for the first round. Foreman has not panicked. Foreman is going about his job. Foreman is all over Joe Frazier. Frazier is down again, and he may be. No, he is rising. He is dazed. He doesn't know where he is. The mandatory 8 count. He doesn't know where he is. Now the round is about to end. 2 knockdowns in the first round of Joe Frazier. Down again. No saving by the bell. He's up, and so the fight continues. 3 knockdowns in the first round by George Foreman. The stool hasn't even drawn.
Wow. Down goes Frazier. The memorable quote, man. The memorable quote. We just heard it live right there. Let me shout out who came in when I was back there, man. Julian, I appreciate those quotes, brother. Appreciate those quotes. Sid Pitter. I don't know if that's Pigeon just coming in here under all different aliases or what, but I appreciate that. I think I saw D-Ray bopping in here, man. Andre Southgate, man. Shout out to you, my brother. Teach, I seen you in here, man. Thank you for coming by. And I know I saw D-Ray in here, my brother D-Ray, man. Let's catch the second round of this fight, man. This was just 50 years ago tonight. 50 years ago this evening. Let's check it out, man. This is the getting back
What
here.
excitement! You're looking at Joe Frazier. Yancey Durham over. The crowd shocked, but the crowd here rooting for Foreman. Muhammad Ali was their hero. Now you're looking in slow motion. The right for the first knockdown. Clean as a whistle. Oh, what a first round. Well, back in Frazier's corner. As you look at them working over Joe, the ice pack at the back of the neck to restore the center. Let's go to the slow-mo for the second knockdown. The right again. Clean as a whistle again. We're waiting for the start now of round 2. There was no question about the first round. 3 knockdowns.
The heavyweight championship of the world.
Wants to come back in a hurry. You'll not find a gamer man than Joe Frazier.
Listen to Howard Cosell here, man.
3 times in the first round. A caution from Arthur Mercano. Oh, he is all over Frazier again.
Watch Frazier go off his feet. Watch this.
Frazier's knees
Boom, right off his feet. Look at that. Wow.
He is down for the 4th time in the fight. George Foreman is doing to Joe Frazier what he did as a 19-year-old to a veteran Russian, a fellow named Leonidas Shapula, in October of 1968 in the Mexico City Arena. A quick left from Joe. Another. Frazier is down for the 5th time in this fight. 5th time. 3 times in the
I think that was the one that he got knocked off his feet. Let me play that again. I was doing the hit while that was going on. Let me play that again.
Doing to Joe Frazier what he did as a 19-year-old
Watch Joe get knocked right off of his feet.
veteran Russian, a fellow named Leonidas Shapula, in October of
Watch this punch lift Joe right off of his feet. Check this out.
City Arena. A quick left from Joe. Another. Frazier is down for the 5th time in
No,
this fight.
I guess it was earlier.
5th time. 3 times in the first round, twice in the second. But Danny checked his senses. Checked Frazier's senses. It's target practice.
There it is right there. Watch when he gets
It is target practice. Frazier is
knocked right
ready
off
to
of
go
his feet.
again. Joe is standing
Right there. Oh,
3 times.
unbelievable.
The fight is stopped. No, it is not.
Danger. Shout out, my brother. Hey, Nick M, bro. How you doing, my man?
Stop it. Bertie Pacheco, Ali's doctor next to
St. Cruising, brother. Thank you for coming by, my man.
It is over in the 2nd round. George Foreman is the heavyweight champion of the world. And I'm going up into that ring to talk to Joe Frazier, the loser, and to George Foreman, the winner, because Joe Frazier has been a great champion and deserves consideration.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
Going crazy about George Foreman. I'll be back with Joe Frazier in a moment.
All right, are we coming back? Let's see if he comes back again here, man. Yeah, we are. Good.
We're in the ring corner. As you can see, Joe Frazier's corner. George Foreman, the new heavyweight champion of the world, has just spoken to Joe. Yancey Durham, a very great manager in boxing, and an overhit fighter. And Joe Frazier has been, as I said, a great fighter. I'm certain the camera is having trouble spotting me. The knockout of the fight was stopped at 135 of the 2nd round. Joe, I'm so terribly, terribly sorry.
Yeah, man, that was the end of that tape. Let me throw my background stuff in here, man. We'll go back to Jamaica. Little reggae in the background, man. But I mean, that was just a memorable evening 50 years ago tonight. And I can remember exactly where I was when I heard the decision. I think there was no pay-per-view back in those days, bro. There was it was on closed circuit, and I think there were 250 locations throughout the United States and Canada. And this fight, it started a whole new era. You know, Joe Frazier. This was not the end of Joe Frazier. You know, he, as much as of a beating as Joe Frazier took, and I can remember seeing a documentary. His son Marvis Frazier. He was at ringside. And he was like, "Pop, get up. What are you doing? You're playing around." He thought he was kidding around. I mean, Joe was invincible. And see, this was the fight where Don King, he went to the arena. Hey, Macadocious, my brother, man. Shout out to you and thank you for coming by. Andre, peace to you, my man. Now, Don King went to the fight with Frazier. Went with the limousine to Frazier. When the fight was over, he walked over. He left with George Foreman. You know, this was Don King, and last night, man, I appreciate all the cats that watched my show last night. I got over 1,000 views with we covered the Don King card. This was a Don King card right here, man. And after this fight, Joe Frazier, he went on, he fought Joe Bugner. He won a 12-round decision. And then after that, man, there was a fight that everybody's still talking about once again to this day. Joe Frazier had the legendary Rumble in the Jungle. Not long after this. Let me see. I'm trying to get my record book straightened out here. All right, here we go, man. Here we go, man. Yeah, see, the George Foreman fight was in 1973. After that fight, he took on Joe Buckner in July of that year. And then he had the rematch with Muhammad Ali in Madison Square Garden. He went on, he fought Jerry Quarry again. He fought Jimmy Ellis, a former champion, the guy that he beat for the WBA title way back in the day. And then there was the famous Thriller in Manila. So Joe was far from finished. And he also had a rematch with George Foreman after that. And he had his final match in 1981. Floyd Jumbo Cummings out of Chicago. I remember that fight, man. It's weird because I remember these things more than I remember what's going on today, what happened yesterday. Names of people I met. It's a funky thing, man. It's a funky thing getting old in this world. But St. Cruzan will tell you some of these facts out here. Yeah, Joe was legally blind. I mean, Joe was a tough son of a bitch, man. Joe would avoid rules. Where Rocky got that read the card, they tap him a couple of times, how many fingers you see. Joe said he used to go into the examination room and memorize the chart. So when they told him to read the chart, he covered his eye. He'd have the numbers memorized, and they'd say cover your right eye. He'd cover his left eye. They'd say cover your left eye, and he'd keep his hand on his left eye. And it was Joe was tough. As we just saw, and George Foreman, you can't even discount what George Foreman did after this fight. George Foreman had the I'm going back on his record now. We have to go back to this fight, man. After this fight, he fought Jose Roman, and then he had that fight with Ken Norton. When he slaughtered Ken Norton, it was a hell of a fight to see too, man. And then he fought Muhammad Ali at the Rumble in the Jungle. He had the elevator match with Ron Lyle. The anniversary of that is coming up in a few days. You guys remember that fight, man? That was one that up and down and up and down. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. Then he went on, he beat Joe Frazier again. He beat Scott Ledoux. I remember watching that fight at my dad's restaurant. It wasn't my dad had passed away, but I was attending bar that night. And Scott Ledoux against George Foreman. After George was on the comeback trail. He took on Providence's own John Dino Dennis, another one that I remember, man. Then he had a fight with Jimmy Young. And George was never the same after that fight. That was the end of his first career. He had that crazy exhibition, if you guys remember, in Montreal. We took on 5 guys, one after another. Andrew Charles, my brother. Salute, bro. But yeah, man, George Foreman came back and had that second career after being retired. He retired after the Jimmy Young fight. He said he saw God in the locker room. I got danger out here. Joe actually could have won if he had just kept swinging. Big George was just coming forward when Joe landed his first right hand, man. Well, we can go back and we could look at that fight and say so many different things could have happened, but the actual history of it all, man, Big George was just a steamroller that night, and Joe Frazier, he wasn't ready for Big George Foreman. I don't think the world was ready for Big George Foreman. And like I stated, man, after that fight with Jimmy Young, which somebody just put that up. I was watching that the other day on here. Vintage Boxing, my friend Vintage Boxing. He put that fight up, and Jimmy Young, another one, man. Jimmy Young had fought Muhammad Ali. Some people say he should have won the decision. I thought Ali won a narrow decision. Jimmy Young just didn't seem to have enough to finish the fight. And quite the opposite in this fight. Jimmy Young came on at the end of the fight, knocked down George Foreman. George Foreman said he saw God in the locker room. He had a revelation. He was never to put the gloves on again. He became a minister. Said he died and left his body. It was a weird, watch some of the documentaries about it. Very, very unreal stuff. I'm still in Jamaica. I'm still digging on this reggae in the back here, man. Smoking the ganja. And then there was the second coming of George Foreman, 1987. I remember that night too. I was sitting in a bar, and I'm telling the bartender to put ESPN on. George Foreman is fighting. He's going, oh, it's an old fight. And I said, no. I said, George Foreman is coming back tonight. Fought Steve Zowski, and George came out looking like the Michelin Man. He had rolls upon rolls. I mean, they were clowning him. They were saying this is a sideshow. This is not real boxing. Nothing's going to become of this. But man, did something become of this? George was the salesman, the comedian. He went on the let's call it the Bum of the Month Club, like Joe Louis had, man. Hey Johnny, how you doing, my brother? He went through the Bum of the Month Club. He got the kind of the guys Tyson fought, the guys Holyfield fought, the Bobby Crabtrees, the Tim Andersons, the Rocky Sikorsky's. Dwight Mohammed Kwawi actually came back as a heavyweight, weighing 222 pounds, looked godly out of shape. Was stopped with TKO. It was a total. I mean, they were all total mismatches. People were joking about him, laughing about him. Then they started taking him on a little bit more seriously. He started taking names with a little more respect to them. Guys like J.B. Williamson, Dave Jocko, journeymen that'll give you 10 rounds, and George was taking them all out, man. Smoking Burt Cooper, took him out in 2 rounds. Bigfoot Martin. Then there was the fight with Jerry Cooney. They called it the Geezers at Caesars, man. George Foreman was relentless. He knocked out Jerry Cooney with a right-handed, man. You got to go back and watch that fight. I should be putting these up, but I'm just doing a quick thing tonight. This is the 50th anniversary of the famous George Foreman winning the heavyweight championship for the first time. A man we still talk about today. But like I said, after he beat Jerry Cooney, people are taking him real serious. They're saying, hey man, this guy might be the real goods over here. HBO brought him on. It was a double header. I think Tyson took on Henry Tillman. I'm not sure, man. But George took on Addison Rodriguez. I got that in front of me. And George took out Addison Rodriguez. Took him out in the second round. Mike Tyson took out his opponent. I think Tyson took on Alex Stewart. I think that's who it was, man. Like I said, the memory's not as sharp as it was. But anyway, what that did was that led to a couple more journeymen, because George kept busy. George liked making that money. Yes, it was St. Cruiser, man. I thought Jerry Cooney was going to have his way with George. I thought that big left hook was too much. And George says he never got hit that hard, man. He said Jerry Cooney had a left hook that was harder than Joe Frazier's. And I'm not going to argue with him. Then he had that fight with Evander Holyfield. 12-round fight. That was on TVKO. I caught that with the black box. George went toe to toe with Evander Holyfield, man. It was great stuff to see. But we all thought that was it, man. He had done his thing. He achieved his title shot. He lost a unanimous decision, but he lost it. It was an interesting fight, but nope. George came back. He wasn't satisfied. He took on a white guy named Jimmy Ellis, after same name as the old WBA heavyweight champion. Knocked out Jimmy Ellis real fast. Had an HBO fight with Alex Stewart. This was a crazy fight, man. Alex Stewart busted up George's face. George's face looked like a pumpkin, and it was cut up, it was bloodied up, and everybody was, even the announcers, man, Jim Lankley and the other cat, man, I can't even think of his fucking name. Larry Merchant. They're all saying, oh, George has got to get out. And I had George's brother on this show last year. Hey, Haplotype, how you doing, brother? You know, George's brother told me that after that fight, he was in the locker room and he picked up the tape. He picked up Alex Stewart's tape, and he said it was hard. It felt like it was tampered with. It felt like it was plaster of Paris. But you know, back in 1992, it was taped in a trash barrel. It never went anywhere. But anyway, man, you know, George didn't retire. He came back. He knocked out the South African, Pierre Kotzer. Lost the fight to Tommy the Duke Morrison. And that was for the vacant WBO title. So, you know, George could have won a world title here. But Tommy Morrison, he had the fight of his life that night. He was smart. He stayed away from George. Peter Von Ox, my bro, shout out to you, man. Thank you for stopping in, man. I showed a fight earlier. I should have showed that later on. I should have done my bullshit, you know, before. But that loss to Morrison, that led to one of the most epic fights in boxing history, man. And that was one that anybody out there who saw it has got to remember it, man. It was the fight with Michael Mora for the IBF and the WBA World Heavyweight Championship. Michael Mora had beaten Evander Holyfield. He was considered to be the linear heavyweight champion at the time, man. He was, Michael Mora was top dog. George Foreman came in the ring, sentimental favorite as always. In fact, he wore the trunks that he fought when he had the Rumble in the Jungle. He was trying to exercise the ghost of Ali, and it was amazing. You know, George was getting his ass kicked. It was. I was sitting there watching that fight, and I'm like, oh, it was almost sorry to see Mora was teeing off on him, and then George is touching him with the jab, throwing that right hand, and he was measuring it. He said all the while he was just getting the feel, measuring him, making him comfortable, just touching him a little bit. And in that 10th round, he laid that 1-2 on Michael Mora. I think he did it twice. And man, it was a miracle. 20 years later to the day, man, George Foreman became the heavyweight champion of the world. I couldn't believe it. It was a few years after Mike Tyson got beat by Buster Douglas, but it was of that magnitude. You know, nobody believed it. You know, and 45 years old. You know, now we're seeing fighters fight into that time, but you know, 30 years ago, not quite so, because maybe the fighters were more boxers than businessmen, whereas today they're more worried about their strength and conditioning coach, their manager, their matchmakers, instead of actually fighting each other, holding their craft in the ring, you know, clearing out the pretenders from the contenders. But I was fortunate enough to live through that other era, man. No one saw Foreman winning that fight, Peter Von Ox. That was like, woo, yep, he beat Father Time, and man, it was a sight to see, man. It was definitely something. That's why I had to really had to share that fight. Come out a little bit tonight, man. Just a little bit, man. Yesterday I was on here for 5 hours, and I got a fight coming on. I got a show coming on Tuesday night, man. It's gonna be good. I got this dude Miles Bailey. Check him out. Check him out in the Wikipedia or whatever. You know, Google him. He's a very, very interesting character. I met him last week, and his heart is for the boxers. He did some time. He was away for a little while. He's back again, man. And I mean, you know, he's definitely an interesting guy. He's a serious and sincere guy, and it's going to be fun talking to him on here. He's going to bring some guests with him. He's that involved in boxing. He's working with Mike McCallum. He's working with oh man, you know, when I start trying to think of these names, this is when my mind gets muddled. But he was talking some names to me this week, and you know, he wants to bring them on here. They want to get involved in this. There's a mission we're actually on. It's to help these boxers that didn't prepare for retirement, and they have absolutely nothing. They don't have Social Security. They don't have a retirement plan. Some of them don't have no welfare. I mean, these guys, some of them are indignant. They don't have the smarts, the wherewithal to get involved in some of these programs. And plus, a boxing pension fund should be started, and there are ways to do it. And Miles has connections out there, so you know, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. It's just gonna be a fun Tuesday night, like it always is around here. I hope you all come in, check it out with me. You know, me and Toka 2 were always here. Maybe I'll be back on my tincture by then. I gotta make up a batch of that. The Big B. But George, man, that night was something truly special. He got down on his knees in the opposite ring. And then, in 1995, I was in the restaurant business for a few years there, man. And he had a defense, one of his few defenses, but it was against Axel Schultz. He went over. He fought Axel Schultz. Axel Schultz was let me see. What is it? It says shortly after his fight, Foreman was stripped of his IBF for refusing to give Schultz a rematch. Yeah, this fight was a majority decision. Foreman won that fight, and he didn't want to give Axel Schultz a rematch. He took on, he still had his IBF. Yeah, it gets real muddled here. It gets real muddled here. But George was eventually stripped of his IBF for not giving Axel Schultz the rematch. He fought Crawford Grimsley. I don't even remember that fight. And that was in Tokyo. Wow, I can't believe I don't remember that fight. Then the Lou Severisi fight, I remember that one, man. He won that fight with a split decision. Shannon Briggs, he lost that fight. Shannon the Cannon. Shannon was going around as the linear heavyweight champion. And that was George's last fight. George kind of realized that was the end of the line. He was pushing 50 years old. He retired, 76 wins, 5 losses. He was only stopped once. That was by the great Muhammad Ali. George holds Muhammad Ali as the highest pedestal you could give the man. And you know, 50 years ago, I'm absolutely grateful that I'm still here. I still got a couple of marbles upstairs working. I still got to butter some. I don't even know the strain I have here, because I had them separated last night. And I got 5 strains right now, man. See if I can remember them all. Got the wedding cake. I've got the cherry diesel. I've got the strawberry. And let's see, what was the other one? The other one was damn, I can't remember that other one. I will in a second, but I'm not even going to keep you here that long. So I've been here for almost an hour. I just wanted to show that fight, pay homage to 2 of the greatest fighters that I've had the pleasure to see. Yeah, wedding cake is definitely one of my, is one of them, man. I got 4 the other day. Let's see. The wedding cake, the strawberry, just strawberry, the cherry diesel, And what the hell was that fourth one? Oh, I know what it was. It was Sour Patch. If I think that's what I'm smoking right now, the Sour Patch. It's pretty decent stuff. Mayhem and Miracles. Salute my sister. Thank you for coming by. You caught me on the tail end. Make sure you give me that thumbs up, all you cats. I appreciate that. Trying to get serious over here. Serious and delirious at the same time. We're rocking with the Jamaicans tonight, man. Irie. George Foreman winning the heavyweight championship 50 years ago tonight. Kingston, Jamaica, beating the undefeated Joe Frazier. I'll never forget that night, and I'm glad I could share that with all you cats, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Make sure you tune in Tuesday night. Miles Bailey, Leon Mohammed should be here if we can get his internet hooked up. Who knows, man? I'm going to reach out, get a few fighters in here, and we're going to do this up nice. So, God bless you all, man. Peace.